And we're recording. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, I did that on purpose. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm Freddy G. It's just, it's a little annoying that there's no camera. It's kind of cool that like I could be naked and you wouldn't know, right? The only one that would know would be Sean.
The
But
only one that should be offended or uncomfortable would be Sean.
exactly. But yeah, every now and then you'll hear me do noises like that just randomly, just because either I want to annoy the 3 people that are listening, or just because I have nothing better to do. But how y'all doing? How's everybody doing? People listening. I was about to say people watching, but ain't nobody watching. But
Depending on the quality of the pickup, since I put the gain up a little bit, like they might be listening to your refrigerator right now.
I
definitely
just
am.
realized I'm not.
All right then.
Yeah, I'm not.
But
thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
Yeah. Might as well do the proper intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
You know this is how we do it. You know this is how we do it.
They know no such thing. We are so disorganized that I don't think they got a read on us yet, and that might be a good thing.
No, I think they do have a read on us. I really do.
That I'm doing the editing wrong.
What's been up, man? I've been thinking of all sorts of random shit, like apple trees and orange trees and why don't oranges like grow in the ground, and also like this
I have some avocados going right now that I'm trying to get like
on trees.
Well, I'm trying to get them to a point so they'll last through the winter, like some little sprouts. Like I've sprouted the seeds, and the thing with the avocado trees is they're random as fuck. They're like a lot of cultivated plants. Like the seed is not necessarily the tree that produced it.
Yeah.
So, but if you get a good base, you know what I mean? It's like grapes. You want to get like a good heart, or even like oranges or citrus, really. Like you want to get the good root base, and then you can like get like clippings from like a good tree and just graft it on there. Anyway, I've been thinking about that quote lately about, what is it?
Bad apples don't fall from the tree, or how does that shit go?
No, but that one's might be applicable in some places. I may have had a little bit too much to drink on Saturday. We could talk about that. But something about old men planting trees that they'll never get to sit in the shade of.
Oh, well, I mean, I ain't never heard that, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I forget where that quote comes from, and there's a pretext on the front of it, something like peace is old men, or that's not it, but a better world or something like that.
Yeah. No, I was just bullshitting. I didn't know what other way to start, but what I had been really thinking of all this week, even though we're only Wednesday. So all this week was and this is a bit more like on the serious note. This is the shit that I've been running in my head this whole time. Like I was thinking about the actual and also because I've been watching a couple of documentaries on it too, and it kind of inflated the thought. But like the actual struggle of like an entertainer. I started comparing, and I'm talking about now, like the whole pandemic.
Right.
But then I started comparing it to the struggle that one has, like myself, when you're coming up, when you go like knocking on doors and nobody wants to open, nobody pays attention to you because your name's not big enough. Basically, what I'm saying is like nobody wants to take a chance on you, because, and I get it, like taking a chance on a no name like myself is a gamble, because it might work or it may go horribly wrong, right? So what I was getting at was that but then I started watching all these documentaries, right? I'm not gonna go through the list because it was quite a few. But anyway, the common denominator in the documentaries was that I started noticing that every major artist, musician, comic, whatever, they all had the same um the same or similar struggle of like they were once in your place and in my place, right? And it's like how did they deal with it? Because then that one line from Chappelle on when he received the Mark Twain Prize award,
Right.
that he said, keep trying and one day y'all make it. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, a lot of y'all ain't gonna ever make it. He's like, it's the truth. But and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, like, is it one of those things where you just have to, like, keep trying, and no matter if, even if you're not good, like, you'll still make it? Because this is where I connect the thought. Because, man, we don't have to drop no names or anything, but there's comics that are extremely famous that you don't like and that you don't find funny. You don't have to tell me who, but I know there is. There's comics that are extremely famous and extremely successful that I don't like. Right. And I find no comedy in whatsoever. But they were successful. Right. So it makes me feel like comics or musicians or whoever like that, entertainers like that, they were successful not because they were necessarily great at the craft, but they were successful because they never gave up on it. You know what I'm saying? And then you have that small percentage that were successful because they got lucky. They were at the right place at the right time. Well, the bell rang the right way, and
okay, let's
so on and so forth.
Just maybe to contextualize a little bit.
Shit, that's me. My bad. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make all kind of weird noises and shit.
No, at least you had the ringer silenced. But it's a lot like going to school, man. You spend those 12 years.
Yeah, but I didn't like school. That's the point.
But listen to me, motherfucker. I don't like a lot of the things, like a lot of the deals that I've gotten. Just okay. There is something to be said for being like a meritocracy type of thing. Like if you can do 5 minutes of decent enough material, we'll pay you this much. Problem is, there are a lot of motherfuckers that would rather just pay you that every single time, regardless of, you know what I mean?
So you're saying, I think I know what you're saying.
You get a raw deal at the early stages because you don't know how to get around it. Like, think about like school for the most part. You could have probably, all of us, literally and it probably would have broken the system if everybody had utilized the ability to bypass, let's say, some of the required testing, the required, you could have done like a summer school program or even a correspondence program and eliminated maybe 2 to 3 years of school semesters off your calendar and graduated at like 16. You know what I mean? We all could have done that and that would have broken the system.
But hold on. There's a very key piece of information that you're missing in that statement. Mm-hmm. Think about it. The people that did do that, like one off the top of my head that I can think of, I believe was Dr. King. I think so. Not too sure. I think graduated at 16 or so. Is that right?
I think if we're talking about the same thing, if we're going off the same piece of information, I think he may have had to graduate early, just out of necessity.
No, well, maybe, but that's not the point. The point is that this is my point, that he still had to be smart enough, right, to graduate at 16, right?
Yeah.
So my point to the statement that you're making is that people like me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying because like I'm disabled or whatever. I I really do think that I would be this dumb if I wasn't disabled. I don't blame my stupidity or me not knowing things on my disability. So with that being said, like there's people
Mm-hmm.
like he did that and whoever else did that, because there is people that did do that, right, and that can.
Right.
There's a certain there's a certain amount of intellectual capacity that you have to have.
Well, you have to know
to pull that off.
Right, but you have to know that those options exist. And what
Well,
I'm saying is, you're at the entry level when you're in elementary. Nobody is informing you of the the summer school or not? Yeah, summer school programs. The
But they are
weekend,
though. You know what I'm saying?
depending. You can get funneled into it.
Like they like that was offered to me when I was in school. But you know why I didn't? Well, I mean,
Okay, but why do you think it was offered to you?
because it was there, like it was available. That's
Okay,
why it was offered.
They were trying to get enough heads in the class so they could have the program, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay, well, I'm basically, that's part of actually what I'm talking about, is that so few individuals are actually utilizing that aspect of of the educational system that it is essentially a cheat code at this point. But it almost doesn't exist. It has to exist, like I said, because there are, if you have a kid that, say, for some reason, maybe they're a caretaker for a parent, you know what I mean? They can't finish out high school. They need to blah, 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 whatever. Like, there are reason that, like, almost, I believe every state has hardship laws, like allowing a kid to get a driver's license at 13 or,
But when it comes, I understand what you're saying. But when it comes to like school,
Mhm.
that factor is minimal to the fact that in order for you to, just an example, in order for you to graduate at 16,
Mhm.
you still have to be very intellectually smart.
Not
Because
really.
take for example for me, like
Mhm.
I'm the perfect example. Say that I'm extremely broke, right? And I need to speed through school because I need to make money, because I need to support my family, because my family's broke.
Right.
I don't think that that's going to do much for me if I'm not smart to graduate quick enough to get to working or get to wherever I need to be. What I'm saying is, if I'm still intellectually, like, not incapacitated, but like if I'm not smart, basically, I'm not gonna get through school any quicker.
Well,
I feel no matter, my point is, no matter what the school does or doesn't do. I mean, they can provide you with the tools and they can tell you, look, if you use this, if you go here, if you go to this tutorial,
okay,
it's there.
I'm actually making an argument, because here's the thing: you don't have to pass the classes with any more of an advantage than you usually would. If you hit the 70 or 80% mark, you fucking pass.
Yeah, but have you tried hitting a 70% mark on calculus? That's my point.
How many high schools do you know require? All right, let me put there is the.
You're missing my point.
Okay,
though.
no, but like, granted, I do recall that there were the educational paths as far as.
And then what was that? What was that class after calculus? Like the because this is how I remember
trigonometry.
There you go.
Okay, but at that point, you're talking about college credits. You're not talking about graduating high school.
Because I want to say I was my second semester as a freshman, and there was kids taking that shit.
They were they may have been taking the AP courses, but
I don't know, but I just remember like looking at their paper.
As far as I can recall, there was only pretty much the most, like, it, if you want to pass full merits, maybe be take a crack at valedictorian type of shit, that one I think you have to have taken the college level courses. But if you just want to graduate high school with a fucking diploma that you can take to a university and say, look, I'm qualified to take your
but
courses.
That's what I'm saying. Go back to what you said earlier.
What?
One of the points that you made that started this whole thing was that you said graduating at 16. That's my whole point.
By the way, when I say graduating at 16, I'm saying like it's possible to hit the bare minimum of requirements for a high school diploma for, I believe, most people, if they were utilizing all of the ancillary programs and like I said, the correspondence courses, the weekend courses, the summer school, all that shit. Like basically, if you had a parent who was keeping this kid running through all the programs through the entire year, that kid would probably knock about 2 years off of their schooling, and at 16 would have a high school diploma that they could go, okay, well, maybe I can, okay, mom and dad were already kind of obligated to take care of your ass till 18 unless, circumstances prevail. So like, okay, you got a 16-year-old who now has the requirements for a college. So spend the next 2 years getting their ass through, the basics of college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people in high school who were going for the advanced programs. They were doing all of the social outreach type of programs, trying to get all the little, fancy bells and whistles on their diplomas so that they could, go and shop around for colleges. I mean, more and more, I think it's apparent to all of us that the college system, as far back as like when you and I were in high school, was already a bullshit facade. The kind of college education that would have been beneficial to us, say, at this moment right now, like if we could go back, like if we could like Bill and Ted this moment and just be like, I'm going to remember to go back and take sound engineering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that stuff could have been gotten at a much cheaper cost. And
it's funny that you say that, because I was having this discussion with another friend of mine, and she was telling me, because she's a nurse, like she's a registered nurse. And before I continue with the statement, all hail to
y'all can't see this, but he literally looked off the side looking for a camera that he could gesticulate at.
Yeah, no, but all hail to
ass motherfucker
to nurses and everything. Y'all do one hell of a job, especially now. We need y'all. I'm not talking down in any kind of way. But anything like outside of nurses or medical or lawyers or fucking doctors, surgeons, and that shit.
Right.
Like, we were having this conversation, and I told her, she got upset because I told her that I don't regret getting out of school. Like, I don't regret not going to college. Like, to this day, at 33 years old, I don't regret it. Now, do I have the best life? No, I don't. Could my lifestyle had been different if I would have gotten a college degree? Maybe. I told her, right? But the fact of the matter is that I actually feel that I didn't miss out on anything, because I remember when I was growing up, they literally told me more than once, if you don't go to college when you're old, you're gonna regret it. That's exactly what I
remember hearing similar things, man. I also remember hearing, we're not going to pay for your college, so you're going to have to figure that shit out for yourself, boy.
Yeah, exactly. So we were having this conversation, and the point of the conversation was that she got upset because I told her that I didn't regret it, right? And then we touched the whole dilemma about my kid and stuff like that, but that's a different conversation.
Continuation of the same conversation, really.
Well, no, it's kind of different because my kid is. I was about to say, if I feel the need to touch that part of the conversation, I'll bring it up. But anyway, like I
This is where we flash forward 20 years and your daughter's out in the Idaho wilderness with a rifle and a backpack and
hey, but is she alive? So
a katana for some reason.
So I told her that I was discouraged when I was employed. I'm not gonna say where, but I had a job where I had 2 other coworkers / employees, right? And mind you, I don't have a college degree. They both had a bachelor's. This is what I never forget. They had a bachelor's in business administration. Okay, yep. They paid a 4-year university a lot of money to get I'm
not gonna lie. I know at least a handful of people who have paid more money than they should to get that exact same degree.
Yeah. So they got this degree, right? And I told her at that job where we were, and I felt bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that, like I said, talk down on anybody, but at that job where we were, I made more money than them. That's one point. Another point was...
But did their education allow them to understand why you made more money than them?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what I was trying to get out of her. Like it's... Like, I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm not saying don't send your kid to college. I'm not saying you don't need school. I'm just saying don't corner your child to telling them that school's the only way that they're going to be successful.
Right.
Because it's not... It's like I told her, it's not true.
I'll even go a step further than that. If you're paying attention, you're probably going to have to be doing a lot of counter messaging just from the bullshit they're getting at school.
Exactly.
A lot of the bullshit, you got to go to college to be a good American type of bullshit was stuff I was getting right from the school. You know what I mean?
But by the way, I do want to point out something. I know y'all can't see it, but this is a white person saying that. I just want to point that out. I'm not racist, but I do want to point that out, just so y'all know. Anyway, but yeah, she was upset because of that. So the other thing that I was gonna say was I had another job where the same scenario played out. This girl had a not business management, the other famous one, because these fucking degrees are famous. Business management, business management. The other one I said was business administration.
Right.
So business management. She had a business management degree, a bachelor's degree, and same thing. She was there. We were both employed. We had the same position, but I was making more money than her. Now, granted, I had been there longer than her, but not that much longer. I had only been there for 1.5 years longer than her. So anyway, I told her I don't understand, other than the fact that this is how you're beautiful people on top make money.
Right.
I don't understand how you can spend all this time and, most importantly, all this money that a lot of people that go to college, they don't have the money. There's some lucky ones that come from a wealthy family, have a trust fund, all that shit. But a lot of people, up to I want to say 80% of people, they don't have the money to continue their education.
I will, just to not seem like we're completely shitting on higher education here. I have noticed that the people who I've talked to that paid their way through college, through basically a pay-as-you-go type of system, you know what I mean? They were still getting, interest on the debt, but it's like paying off a car, you know what I mean? We project that if you continue on this payment plan, within 2 years of getting out, you will have paid off your whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those folks seem to have probably out of necessity gone through the programs that actually benefited them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I say I know a handful of people that paid for like business associate degree
Yeah.
and shit like that, it was some of them did it out of necessity. Like, you know, the story that you have about not getting the audio technician job because you didn't have the fucking piece of paper. That's
Yeah.
what they needed. They needed the piece of paper to continue on the
Well,
path.
that's where I was going. What I was gonna say was going back to the nurse and the doctor and shit like that. So I told her, not unless it's somebody like you, that you're a registered nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or a judge or some type of like higher civil servant. You know what I'm saying? Like a police chief, a sheriff. Like these people do need like a criminal justice degree so that they can, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
understand that. But
Well, to be honest, man, and this may be a misunderstanding on my part of just like the nature of
teachers too, I take my hat off to teachers as well.
Well, I'll even say this for teachers, man.
I stand by y'all, man. Y'all don't get paid enough.
I don't get me wrong. If some 18-year-old is fascinated enough in criminology or, you know, law in general, and they find their way into a law enforcement educational tract, that's good for them. You know what I'm saying? But the idea that, I don't know, I'd rather somebody work their way into the later stages of the law enforcement later in life. You know what I mean? Granted, you don't want somebody dropping dead on the job, but I'm saying as far as cooler heads should prevail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. We got way too many young lawyers involved in.
Well, at this point, we have too many young everything. If you think, and I'm not being sarcastic, I literally do mean it's a good point that you bring up because I do feel that we do have a lot of young everything. We have a lot of young police officers. I think, again, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but I think a very young police officer is a very bad thing to have because of the fact that it's just too much pressure. It's way too much pressure and too much responsibility. You know, to be held on. You know, for somebody that's under 25, under 23, you're barely figuring out yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your life, your responsibilities and shit. And then to add all that pressure and that responsibility, and then add the gun as a factor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel that that's why, and not entirely, but that's also the reason why police officers, you know, shoot and kill people for no reason.
Now, I think there might be an argument to be had for having the younger officers on the force for those scenarios where you may need somebody who is, you know, young, dumb, and full of get up and go. But
yeah, but my whole thing is
you don't want them to be the front face of
not just
law
that,
enforcement.
but it's because I'm not a police officer, but I really don't think people understand, even as a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I will not shy away from saying this. I know what I'm saying. I know why I'm saying it. And I will repeat off the bat first. I am not against your Second Amendment right. You if you want to have a gun, you should have a gun. You have 7, you have 8. That's fine. The only
This is usually what you say before you bust out a list of people who shouldn't have guns.
I'm pulling an old George Carlin. No, but what I'm saying is, I feel that okay, you have a driver's license, right?
Right.
I have a driver's license.
Right.
I don't know if you went to school or not, but you took some kind of test that somebody stamped on a paper and said you can now drive, right?
Right.
Okay. So they gave you the responsibility of a vehicle, right?
Right.
You can now drive a car. So my point is, let's stick with the car before I jump back on the gun. So God forbid, right? Say that you go out and you're just tired or whatever, and you run over somebody, right? And it's an accident, but you kill that person, right? So now you got to go to court, and you got to get a lawyer, and your lawyer has to fight for you so that they can drop whatever the charge is gonna be to uninvoluntary manslaughter, so you can get a lesser charge, and unless they can get a lesser charge proving for a fact that it was an accident and you not being intoxicated, all of that is gonna play a factor. So
Right.
then you're gonna go through all of that. This is my point. I feel that when you have a gun, whether you're a police officer, well, no, I shouldn't say that. A police officer and a civilian. I'm a civilian. I have a gun. This is a police officer, and they have a gun.
I just because I feel the need to point this out every single time. Police officers are civilians too. They are not military personnel.
I understand, but I'm gonna say something to that point. That's kind of where I'm going. So a police officer has a gun. I'm a civilian. I have a gun. Right? There's now laws vary state to state, right? I understand that. But I feel that me as a gun, I mean, I don't own guns, right? For other reasons that I will not discuss at the moment. But
Because police officers won't let you.
I don't have a gun, but I'm saying if you're a civilian that has a gun, you have to understand that by you having a gun, you have a responsibility. With that responsibility, if you are not responsible, there's consequences. Okay?
Right.
So my point is that I feel that anybody that has a gun, at the point that they bought that gun, they knew the consequences of the results of whatever actions are taken with that gun.
You hope. Yeah.
Okay. Whoever sold,
In best case scenario, yes, they have considered that there is
Okay,
responsibilities.
but whoever legal, and I'm saying if you bought this legally, illegally is a whole
Oh
different
yeah,
story.
look, if they
But-
pass the background check,
Yeah,
if they
if
walk
you-
into a gun store,
So
and
somebody said, "Here, sir, ma'am, you are responsible enough to handle this firearm." Somebody said that somewhere.
yeah, and by the
Okay.
way, it is also like just because you're like, let's say like I'm the teller at the gun store and you walk in and like you go through the whole thing and like I give your name to the FBI and it comes back and they're like you are cleared to sell a gun to Freddy G. And then I go, sir, you are cleared to purchase a gun. And you just look at me with like some batshit crazy grin and go, excellent. I can go, sir, you have just made me very uncomfortable and I am not selling you this gun.
No, but what? Okay, well,
Just saying there are multiple checks here.
Where I was going was, somebody said on paper you can have this gun.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, and now me as a civilian, if I go and I shoot somebody, and
Right.
that
I
person,
don't know why you keep invoking civilian. though.
and there's a point, because I'm gonna go back to the cop right now. There's a reason why I'm saying this. So I go and I kill and I shoot somebody and they die.
Mhm.
Right? Let's leave the circumstances out, because then we'll never get out of
A
the
gun was
conversation.
fired, somebody
And
died.
somebody died, and you fired that gun. Right? I'm not saying you gotta go to jail for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that your freedom should be taken away completely, because that all goes back to the circumstances, what happened, how did all of that shit that they look into. All I'm saying is, you fired a gun, you killed somebody. Those are facts. You did that, and you have to take responsibility for that. So what I'm saying is, there should be some kind of consequence because of the actions that took place. Now, I'm not going to go into details on what the consequences should be because that's a different conversation.
Man, you kind of losing me here because what you're basically saying is we should have laws, and we do.
Perfect. I'm glad you say that. So now I'm going this way. You just said we have laws. Thank you for saying that we have laws. Right. I'm gonna add something on top of that because you just said we have laws.
Man, you're coming about this in a very circumspect fashion. Get to the point, Freddy.
No. You got to listen because this is why I'm making my point.
Fuck Picasso over here doing Guernica needs 19 feet of fucking wall. It's like, look, I'm telling the story, man. I'm telling the story.
We have laws,
right?
And what I'm gonna add to that is because of what I'm about to say, nobody should be above the law. So right. Continue. So now you have a police officer. This is an individual that was trained to supposedly handle under pressure, so on and so forth. I get it. I feel that police officers don't get enough training. They should have more training. I'm with that. I get it. That's not my point in this conversation. My point is this person was trained more than a regular civilian on how to properly handle a firearm. Not only that, they were also trained on how to properly defuse a situation without using deadly force.
That is not a good assumption to make at this point in time.
I'm telling you what they've told me.
The only assumption that you should make about a police officer is that at some point they receive some training as to when and when not to put you in handcuffs. And to be honest, most of them are bad.
They're also trained on how to defuse a situation.
Some of them. There are a lot of them. All right, wait.
Okay, so
we have to redefine diffuse if we take some of the training.
I'm not getting into the technicalities because this is why this shit happens. So let's say, and I'm gonna cut straight blank to it. You're saying, you're saying not every police officer is trained, whatever, but every police officer has a gun. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Most.
All the police officers I know have a gun. Not security guards, police officers. They have a gun.
Right.
I've never seen a police officer without a gun.
There are a lot of bike cops that don't carry firearms.
I don't want to say it like this, but I was about to say I meant like a real police officer.
No, motherfucker, but like, look, if we're talking about best case scenario, like, don't get me wrong, they have the gun because there's the distinct possibility that someone.
What I'm saying is, man, like.
You don't call a bike cop to respond to a gun crime, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, cops, they have a gun. So to your point, some are trained, some are not. So
I get it. You don't consider bike cops real human beings. No. I understand.
What I'm saying is
they shouldn't wear that those shorts. It looks ridiculous on them. Nobody respects that shit.
If you're not trained, first of all, and I don't want to lead off on this point because I got another point to make, but if you're saying not all of them are trained, all I'm going to say is, how is that my fault? And why should I have to lose my life because you weren't trained?
Okay, let me throw something at you because again, this goes back to you keep using the civilian distinction. Part of the problem is that we assume that cops are distinct from the rest of the civilian population, which they are a part of because they are not military personnel. If we considered them civilians as they are, we would understand that most of their job is not pointing guns at people. 98,
but they do.
No, 98% of their job is paperwork and bureaucracy, essentially.
So I lead back to my original point. My original point was...
No, but here's what I'm saying. They would be held to a higher standard if people stopped assuming that they receive some special training that they don't receive.
But they do, though.
There's a large percentage of the American population that is better trained with firearms than 98% of law enforcement.
I lead back to my other point. That's not my fault. So this is the point that I'm trying to... And I'm saying that's not my fault as a civilian. So... why should I get shot and lose my life just because you didn't have proper training? And that's not even That's not even my argument. That's just what I'm answering you, what I'm telling you. My argument is this cop has a gun. So,
Right.
training or not, somebody said, "Here, sir, you can carry this gun." So,
Yes.
this is my point. If again, Second Amendment. If you want to have a gun, you should have a gun. It's your right as an American citizen.
Right. They get to have guns because the rest of us get to have guns.
Exactly. So my point is, and this is my point to a civilian and to a cop. My point.
This is what I'm saying. Part of the problem is drawing this distinction between the law enforcement authorities, officers, whatever, and the rest of the civilian population. They are civilians.
No,
they are not held. Then stop. That's what I'm saying. But get it through your head and stop putting out that distinction, because it's not helpful to your own argument.
But it's because I've asked this question to a police officer.
Oh, they don't think they're civilians, but they're insane.
Again, that's not my fault.
That is your problem.
No, that's not my fault.
That very quickly becomes your problem when they don't understand that distinction.
So what I'm saying is, and this is the whole point I was trying to make before we got onto that tangent. My point is that if you have a gun, I
still don't know why you started this.
My point is that you have a gun, and somebody said you can have a gun. It's a responsibility. So all I'm saying is, especially with a cop, if a cop shoots and kills somebody, right?
Right.
You should still be held to the same responsibility of if I, non-law enforcement person, is held if I shoot and kill somebody.
There is a slight distinction.
Now, I do understand, again, this is why I said taking out the technicalities of what the crime was, how it went down, was it self-defense, all it like.
Well, let me throw something at you. Do you think there is even a possibility that society could exist in a world in which the government didn't have the right? What if? Okay, because at the moment, the government has the monopoly on violence. Essentially, they are the only force within society that could come to your door legally with a gun, point it in your face, and say, "Do what we tell you, or else." Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that they can operate without that ability? Like if we said, "Look,
they're not operating properly with it," so
no, I know they're not, but I'm saying if you. What I'm basically trying to get to is, do they need to have at least some
this is all I'm saying,
authority to commit violence? Because if
it's very simple. This is all I'm saying. And this is the biggest point to this whole conversation. I feel that if people that carried a gun, especially police officers, if they were held to consequences to the actions that they take with those weapons, I really feel that there would be less police to civilian shootings and killings.
Agreed. But as I've pointed out before with these conversations, man, I don't think we've had a clear distinction of, let's say, the responsibility of.
It's not that hard, bro.
Let
me give you another example, because I hate to hear that shit. It's not that difficult. I understand if you don't understand, because maybe you're not that big on sports. I get that, but I'll explain. So when you become a professional boxer, you go, you get your license with the state of Nevada, state of Texas. They all got different regulations.
Right.
You apply for your license. You get your license. You are now a professional boxer.
Yes.
You can box in the state of Texas. But did you know that when you become a professional boxer, you have to register your fist? You register your fist, and you can Google this shit. You register your fist, and now this is where I want to get really, there's a thin line. I want to be careful how I said this, but technically your hands are now considered weapons.
Okay, now just to be clear about this,
hold on.
I don't know if Texas.
There's a point. There's a point I'm trying to make with that.
I want to be clear about this. There are certain states that hold you to a higher liability.
Yes,
meaning that if you instigate a fist fight,
exactly. So that's where I was going. So if I'm a professional boxer,
that doesn't mean you can't get in a fist fight. By the way,
no, I didn't say that. That's not my point.
Don't get in fist fight, kids.
What I'm saying is, if you now have your hands registered as weapons or whatever, so
right,
like you said, in some states, if I go and I get in a fight or whatever, I instigate a fight, I am held at a higher standard.
You are assumed to understand the liability that comes with that action.
Exactly. So this is all I'm saying.
Yes.
If motherfuckers can do that shit with a professional boxer, there's no difference with a police officer that walks with a weapon by his side.
Let me use a boxing
16 hours
Let me
a
use
day.
a boxing example then. Okay, you remember the his name is
Resto? Louis Resto? They got are you talking about the hand wraps?
No, that was okay. Granted, yeah, man, he should have there are a couple of incidents with the plaster and the hand wraps where motherfuckers should definitely have faced charges for
which he did. He didn't get much. He got 2 years, 18 months, I think.
Okay, but what I was going to use was actually the Mayweather what was the guy's name who he headbutted him a couple times and then
Vic Ortiz.
Yes. Okay. Now, as was pointed out at the time, to much hilariousness, when Mayweather knocked that motherfucker out, he was legally allowed to do so by the rules of the boxing match. The official had already started the fight. It was put your motherfucking hands up, protect yourself at all times.
But see that's a boxing rule.
No, but what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, when a cop, these scenarios where it's like, okay, the guy that was going to his truck in I think it was Kenosha, where they were having the argument with the cop, and then he went around to the driver's side of his truck, and the cop was telling him, don't move. They get to the truck. This guy reaches in and starts to come out with something, and they plugged him in the back. You recall this? This is the whole reason they had the riots up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, months back.
I'm not too sure. There have been so many, man, that I lost track.
Yeah, well, these are the kind of things you got to pay attention to because the devil's in the details. The motherfucker was pulling a goddamn knife out of the truck. Now, here's the thing. Doesn't matter whether he was pulling a knife out of a truck. If the cop is legally doing his job, don't get me wrong, you fight it in court, not on the side of the street. Kids, don't get in a fist fight with a cop unless that motherfucker is already trying to kill you, in which case, free for all. But there's going to be some consequences. My point is...
That was my point.
What I'm saying is, in the same situation, like, look, even if that dude hadn't been pulling a knife out, which he was doing something which, in the cop's line of duty, could be assumed to be a threat. And
what about all the ones that said...
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of motherfuckers that get shot because they reached for their wallet, man.
No, but all he said was, I can't breathe. And he wouldn't get off.
Oh, dude, that believe that dude was like 23 years old, the guy that jumped up on his back. That was the Eric Garner case up in New York.
Exactly.
Okay, but,
so I mean, like that's what. Look,
okay, but that kid was using yes, that kid should have been fucking prosecuted because that exact chokehold that they were talking about was prohibited from being used.
Yeah. But that's not even my point. Like I don't want to stray away from the point that I'm making.
No, but what I'm saying is there are situations that can happen. Like, look, should Mayweather have popped Ortiz in the face? Maybe not if he was being sportsmanlike, but under the rules, like, yeah, what he did was perfectly fucking legal. We can have an argument about, if you want to argue with, does it exactly match old Queensberry's rules? Maybe not, but these are the rules that we are currently working under. I agree. They should be held to standard. The idea of
that was the point that I was trying to make with the cops. Like, you have a gun and it's fine, but there's you have to understand that if you do something with that gun that you're not supposed to, you need to, there's consequences behind that. So this is the closing argument that I was going to put on that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh there is consequences with the results of your actions, meaning that by you getting let go on paid vacation after you killed somebody, what the fuck is that telling to the rest of the world and the rest of the country? And that's not
No, come on, man. You're bringing in an old argument that we've already had. We've had this discussion several times on here. Like, look, there needs to be the investigatory period, just the same way in which, like, all right, we can argue that, like, bail is
that's who I was gonna bring
unlawfully implemented in a lot of cases.
Oh wait, no, I thought you were talking about the Sean Bell case. That's who I was gonna bring up.
Bail. Which who's Bell?
Sean Bell, the guy that got shot in New York by the 4 police officers, and all 4 police officers were put on paid vacation, and then it took like 4 weeks, and they were all acquitted.
Okay, were they acquitted or were they not prosecuted?
No, they were
prosecuted, put through the whole trial, and they were acquitted.
That's why
okay, now were they acquitted by a? Because here's the thing, it's like that case with fuck, her name is escaping me at the moment. In Kentucky, where they went.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor.
Okay, those guys were not. The one guy is going to go to trial for. I believe, or actually, I take it back. He may have already gone to trial for the reckless discharge of the weapon because he fired blindly into the apartment. But the other guys were acquitted by grand jury. Like, they didn't even go to trial. Like, they went to the grand jury. The grand jury voted not to. And there's some bullshit with that, no doubt. But I'm like, this is part of the problem with we have a shitty media apparatus, man, at all fucking levels. Every once in a while you get some very useful and pertinent, like, timely information out of, say, local news channels. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, the Monitor or Channel 4 or something down here actually pops up with something where I go, oh shit, not only is that interesting, but that's something that, like, I might want to know about immediately now that this is happening. They do fail on that a lot as well. And I'm saying across the board, local media does. But when it comes to propagating, like, national stories, you get so little information that you're forced to kind of compare takes. You know what I mean? Like, this report is saying, cops were fired on while trying to implement a warrant. And this report says, cops burst in the middle of the night, didn't announce themselves, and started firing at a woman and her boyfriend while they were in bed. You know what I mean? And the man bravely tried to defend himself from. It's like, okay, that's somewhere in the middle seems to be what happened here. You know what I mean? They were trying to defend themselves in the hallway, but there's also the implication that they were tied in with the drug sales, or at least housing drugs for the ex-boyfriend. There's the 2-year long case that was involving Taylor and several other people.
And that's what I'm like. Well, I mean, that's a whole other part that I can talk about.
And by the way, just to clarify, there seems to be at least some indication that she was slowly being eliminated as a suspect in that case. So it's very possible still that, like, all this comes out that should have never taken place. But again, you're not getting that information. The story I got right off the bat was cops fail no-knock warrant. And, it's like, okay, the boyfriend at least got a couple in their leg. Good for him. But then it's like, okay.
I like I said, man, the only point that I was trying to make with that, man, is like, I just feel that if you hold a gun, there should be no exception to, like, the consequences of, like, using it irresponsibly. And the only reason that I say that, because everybody asks, and I'm getting tired of the fucking question. They're like, how do you diminish or get rid of uh police shootings between civilians?
Okay, but
And I keep saying it over and over. Just hold, whether it's a police officer or whether it's a regular civilian that has a gun, hold everybody responsible to the same standard. Not this, I'm gonna give you paid vacation while we figure shit out, basically. Um, but hold everybody to the same responsibility standard, and I guarantee you that police officers or unarmed civilian off the street will think 2 times and 3 times before they shoot somebody.
okay, but
Right?
here's the thing, man. Most times when, okay, let's say it's because, all right, most of the times when a cop, very rarely, I think I've maybe seen two in my entire life situations where a cop was arrested immediately for an action, for having fired their weapon and shot somebody. And I couldn't even give you the details off the top of my head. I just remember at least seeing somewhere, a cop blindly fired into a room or something and killed somebody and was arrested. But 9 times out of 10, no, fuck that. 99.99 times out of 100, it's gonna be a scenario where the cop is assumed to have fired in self-defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time when civilians are assumed, god damn it, you got me saying it now. Most of the time when non-law enforcement people, when your average citizen is considered to have fired in self-defense, they're not arrested. They may be charged later on if the
I
DA.
get what you I get what you're saying, but again, like you're hitting me with the technicalities, which I get
Well,
it.
that's a
No,
pretty fucking important technicality,
no,
man.
I get it, but my point is that like it feels like the truth a lot of the times
Mhm.
gets lost in the technicalities. And that's why I try to put it as clear and as plain as dry as I can, to where
Right, but you can't pull back so far that you're losing an understanding of why the technicalities are there.
no, I get it, but this is why you go to court. What I'm saying, like
Right.
the technicalities are.
But here's the thing: if the cop, the cop gets immediately, they fire their weapon, they're immediately put on paid leave, and the case gets
That's
sent.
what they do. Yeah.
The case gets sent to internal investigations. If internal investigations determines something happened, they kick it to the DA, right? Or
And that's not even pointing out the cases where it was like straight murder and you just saw the cop kill him, but then you still go through all that shit, which that I don't argue too much, because I understand the law in this country of due process. So I get it. A lot of the times I don't agree with it.
Mhm.
I mean, unless I'm the one that's being arrested, but I'm just fucking with y'all, man. I'm trying to put some levity into this conversation. I'm just fucking around. But I'm saying is, I'm not gonna back off my point. My point is,
no, but if you're just going to reiterate, let me finish what I was saying. If they determine, now granted, we can discuss about whether or not there is bullshittery afoot in the determining process, the internal affairs investigations, whether the DA's office is culpable for playing political bullshit with, hey, we got to go along to get along with the cops and all that. It's like, okay, that all may be occurring. As a matter of fact, it occurs down here in the valley on a regular fucking basis. But what I'm saying is, in best case scenario, the way the law is supposed to be implemented is if they determine a crime was committed, at that point, that officer is then arrested. It's not like they get to stay on, paid leave once they're under fucking
no, I
criminal
get it.
investigation.
I get it.
They get arrested.
But that's what I was trying to point out, like 15 or 10 minutes or whenever we were talking earlier. That's fine, and I agree with you on that. But there is about to sneeze and shit. But what about the cases where it was plain cut out and dry, where like it was murder? There's no other way to, like, this cop murdered this person. And again, this is
Okay,
what.
but it's usually okay. Very rarely is it straight to the point.
No, bro. I can. No, I disagree with that strongly.
Okay,
I
but
can
think about it like this, man. Okay. Say the body cam's rolling, all that happens. The what do you call it? The commanding officer is likely not going to go back and view that body cam immediately on the scene. You know what I'm saying? What they're probably going to do is immediately send that to the internal affairs.
I get it.
So what I'm saying is there's going to be a delay. Now, should there be less of a delay? Maybe so, but how do we do that?
I just told you.
Immediately arrest them?
No, I just said.
Should we assume that any law enforcement officer who fires their weapon might be culpable? Should they have immediate liability? So anytime that they've shot somebody or caused some harm, they should be immediately arrested and, basically assumed guilty? Should there be some special portion of the law that's cut out just for that scenario of law enforcement?
I love the way you put it that way. So I'm gonna answer your question that way. But you need to let me then say why real quick.
No, I'm not gonna let you speak.
Yes, based off one reason. And I know you're not gonna agree with me on it, and it's fine. But yes, but then I'm also gonna tell you why no and why it's a slippery slope. But yes, based on this reason. Because you're a trained officer. I know what you're going to say. Not all of them are trained. I lean back to my reply from 20 minutes ago. That's not my fault. And you know what just happened? I just died. So because you weren't trained, I died. I don't get a second chance at life, but you still get a second chance. And it's fine. I'm not saying because I died, you should die. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if I can say it a different way, I'm just saying that it feels like these punishments are way more lenient because you're a police officer. Now, you can argue the point that that's not true, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling you what it feels like. And then not only that, but the statement that you are publicly, non-verbally making when you do that. So, this is the statement that they're making. When a cop shoots another person and they walk away, that makes it seem like it's okay for the next cop to do it. You know why? And again, I'm not saying that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying what it looks like. Because in the back of in the back of that cop's head, he says, well, if I ever get caught in that situation, I mean, if they're a good person, like if they're a decent person, mm-hmm. they're going to be like, I never want to be in those shoes. But in the back of their head, they're like, at least if I'm ever caught in that situation, there is a very, very, very big chance that I'll walk away. Why? Because I am a police officer. And I feel that there shouldn't be. Now, I'm going to give you another example. And this is where I'm going to piss more people off. Maybe including you. But flip it around. Fuck. I have to say this before I say the next statement. I don't condone this and I don't agree with it. And I don't want anybody to die. And I value everybody's life. And I don't hate police officers. I respect y'all. Okay. Now that I said that, why is it that when a civilian shoots a police officer and they die, immediately, 90% of the time, I'm giving a 10% leeway, 90% of the time, immediately they seek the death penalty? And there's some papers, depending on the case, that if you go back and you read, they word it in a way where they seek and they feel that that person deserves the death penalty because they killed a public servant. So so you know what that is telling the public, us, that your life, because you are a police officer, is valued more than anybody else's.
I agree. That assumption is.
And let me say this again, because I know the shitstorm that I just started. I don't condone violence against anybody, and I repeat, because I've been told this to my face, and I don't mind, because God knows my heart, and I know who I am, and I know that I don't have hate towards anybody. I just hate discrimination, and I hate inequality is what I hate. So what I'm saying is, I love police officers. I've worked closely with police officers. I understand your job is hard. I get it. I stand by you. Your life matters as well, because but your life matters because you're a human being.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Can you think of I can think of one specific case where a cop was fired upon, hit. I don't believe they died, but they may have. I know they wound up in the hospital. And the very reason that the guy got off was because he didn't know it was a cop. I know of one case where that has happened explicitly.
No, that wasn't. You're missing my point.
No, but what I'm saying is, in most of the cases where people shoot cops, mm-hmm. they knew it was a cop, mm-hmm. and I can't even off the top of my head think of a scenario in which the argument was made, well, I had to shoot the cop because he was threatening my life. I cannot off the top of my head come up with a justifiable homicide.
With that, I'm not saying it's justifiable. With that statement, you're missing my point. That's not my point. My sole point is, a cop was shot by a regular civilian, mm-hmm. like you and me. The prosecution automatically seeks a death penalty. So that's ignoring the fact that this person that shot the cop, they're going to jail. They're not walking away from a jail cell. Related back to what I said.
Okay, are you trying to make a case against? I agree. Cops should not be held in any. The only exception to them having any consideration is that we are assuming that, again, 99% of the time, they are lawfully carrying out their duties.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I mean, that's kind of not what you said earlier. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, what do you mean what I said earlier?
That's the only.
I'm not saying they're good at carrying out their duties. I'm just saying that
that's not what I'm saying, though.
They're carrying it out to the best of their understanding, which is not always the best.
The three people that are listening, I don't want you to take this the wrong way either. I don't want anybody to die, and I don't want anybody to get shot. I just want everybody.
Okay, I'm just saying comparing apples to apples, man. If you're talking about a scenario,
not really. That's exactly what you're not doing, because
again, the only consideration you have to make is that the cops are, by the very nature of their activities, they are carrying out the monopoly on violence that we give to the state. Basically, if you don't do what the state has certain circumstances in which they're allowed to tell you what to do. Whether that should exist is a whole other argument.
I get your point. 100%. But that's a whole different animal within itself. What I'm saying is, that's a whole different conversation and argument. I understand and I agree with you to some point, mm-hmm. but that's part of this conversation. But this is a whole animal.
This is like the whole resisting arrest thing, where it's like, look, if a cop says, I'm going to arrest you, and you say no, it doesn't matter if you fight him. At that point, the cop could just start just go, okay, I'm about to call 6 more motherfuckers, and we're going to very carefully hog tie your ass.
Yeah. But that's all I'm saying, dude.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Saying is, like you should be held accountable.
In the best case scenarios, there are. Now, this is why I argue against.
And that's why. That's
okay.
What
For
I don't
example,
agree with.
there is I believe there's a bill up in front of the state of Texas right now. I believe it's House of Representatives.
Is it the marijuana one?
No.
I don't want to hear shit.
I don't know what's on the ballot. No. But here's the thing. The bill is going to implement the what's it called? The obligation to retreat. Basically. So like if somebody busts in your house, you know what I mean? You can't immediately, like right now, if somebody kicked in your front door right now and I went, Freddy, am I good? And you said, yes, you are. I could plug them as long as I got your permission first. Yeah, but what I'm saying is what they're trying to implement is the idea that if somebody kicked in your door, you'd have to run away first and go, please don't hurt me.
Well, what I was going to say was, and it's good that you kind of bring up that point back to the gun thing. So, for example, so they've asked me, so you think all guns are bad? No, it's just the motherfuckers that use the guns that don't know how to use them. Right. So I'm not against your Second Amendment. I'm not. I'm in no way, shape, or form. I'm just saying you need to be held to the same accountability that everybody else is.
I agree. But
what I'm saying is your Second Amendment comes in handy. Like you said right now, if a motherfucker comes in your house and you're in your house and you have a gun.
Oh, well, let's be even clear. I could be under Texas state law. I could be out in the street. And if somebody ran up to me screaming and waving a butcher knife in my face enough that like I assume they were a deadly threat, I could plug them.
No, you can. But at that point, you need a good lawyer.
Yeah, but I don't have to retreat. No, if I think that they are a deadly threat under Texas state law.
I get that. What I'm saying is, at that point, I'm not a lawyer, but I think from what I understand, in that scenario, you can. You're in your right, but at that point, you still need a good lawyer. What I'm saying is, if you're in your house or on your property and that person comes in,
but that
dude Adam just gave up everything. Okay, but you can fill them with enough holes like an Afghan.
What I'm saying is now why we're at this point. That's a long discussion, but at this point, under Texas state law, if somebody presents a deadly threat to any citizen in Texas, if somebody presents a deadly threat, that citizen is allowed to respond with deadly force. Correct? That's everybody. That's us. That's the cops.
As far as what's in the books, what we're discussing here.
Okay, I agree.
That's not being done on the street. Is what I'm saying.
I agree. I don't want cops being revered because of something they're not. Where it's like, well, they're public servants or whatnot. No. We give them say special treatment under the law. Because that's how the law works.
And you know what really bothers me? I had thought about it already before, but I guess I had never let it really set in. Somebody yet again, I was having this discussion and they asked me again. They've asked me this question before, but I don't know why this time it really sat. Mm-hmm. They said, well, Fred, what if it was your child? You know what I mean?
Who? No, I mean like who's your child supposed to be? The victim of the shooting?
Of the shooting, right?
Okay.
So they've told me that before, but I don't know why when they said that, it really it hit, you know? So like you, I understand. I understand you don't have kids. I get it. But the only way that I could figure to ask you like this is like you, what if it was you, because you don't have any kids, but what if it was Sean? Mm-hmm. And what if you in your heart, Sean, you and nobody else knows that you didn't do, only you and God know that you didn't do anything wrong. And you end up on the wrong side of a situation with law enforcement and you get shot. Right? And then you come to the realization that you're about to die. Mm-hmm. Right? I know it's kind of fucked up because we're not in that scenario, but just what I'm getting at is like, how would you like? Would you really want to go out like that? Would you want to go? Would you want your life to be cut short for something that one you like? You know it wasn't
Okay,
you
no,
know it
Fred,
wasn't your fault,
Freddy. Okay. One thing I want to make one statement. I think actually the argument I'm trying to make is that all of us should be held to the not guilty standards that law enforcement typically is. I think we all should be treated with the consideration.
Well, we are according to the.
Okay, but as you've been trying to argue, a lot of times the law does not treat people equally and does assume
happens
guilt.
to be cops, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but I'm saying I think we should all, as citizens, be treated to that level of consideration.
I get it.
Okay,
what I'm saying is that.
Okay, but here's the question I want to follow that up with is, are you trying to make the argument, and I'm not saying I'm against it, but are you trying to make the argument that cops should be disarmed? Maybe cops shouldn't have.
No, I didn't say that. I just said what the solution is.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I will repeat the solution. The solution is you hold every police officer to the same standard that if a regular civilian were to shoot and kill somebody, again, taking out the circumstances, the crime, the scene.
Okay, but think about how many officer-involved shootings there are every year in this country. Yeah, okay. But you don't hear about most of them because most of the time it was a legal fucking shooting. I know that's not a comfortable thing to tell people.
Okay, well, hold on. It's still very simple, bro. So, like in that scenario, I don't know. You don't have to tell me the details, but just so you can understand.
And again, you have to trust the FBI if you want to look at those numbers. So that's questionable.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, in that scenario, you're saying it was a legal shooting, and so, but
most of them are legal shootings.
But that's the point. You said it. That's a closed case right there. You just said it was a legal shooting. If it was a legal shooting, listen, man. If I have a gun.
Oh, by the way, I'm not saying that just because you hear about it.
If I have a gun and you're a police officer, and I take out a gun and I point it at you. The second that I, a civilian, point a gun at you, a cop, at that point, I believe that you have the right to pull your gun out and shoot me without asking a question. You know why? Because at that point, your life was in danger. Okay? Right. So, my point is, there's way too many cases where this wasn't the case.
Okay, but there are a lot of cases.
Person.
Okay, but how many cases that I don't think you're taking into consideration here? And there was a great example that just happened a few months back, man, where the cops dragged ass and they kept telling the kid to get out of the car, and I only say kid because I think he was like 23. They're telling this guy to get out of the fucking car. He keeps fucking around, blah, 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 this and that, starts reaching under the seat, all this shit. At any point within like a 3-minute period, they had the legal authority to drag him from the car and beat him about the head with a baton because not only was he resisting arrest at that point.
Again, I just...
No, but here's the sweet part on the end of it. He shot both of them fucking dead. Because they didn't do what they were legally allowed to do. So what I'm saying is scenarios.
You just said that you just said key points there. He reached for something that they did not know.
Okay, but I'm saying a lot.
So at that point, it goes back to the scenario that I pointed with me pointing a gun at you. At this point, you don't know. So at this point, your livelihood, your life comes into question. So I understand that you have every right.
No, but what I'm saying is at the point before he even started reaching under the seat, the cop, you're sitting in your car. They pulled you over for a speeding ticket, whatever. Doesn't matter why, but they say, "Sir, I need you to exit the vehicle." And you say, "No, you are."
Did they have probable cause? I think you have to have probable cause.
Do you think they're going to admit to not having probable cause?
That's not my problem.
It will be if they drag your ass out and beat you.
Well, hold on. That's what I'm saying.
No, but what I'm saying is,
but I'm trying.
I'm not saying don't ask for probable cause. If the cop asks you to stay out,
I'm trying to make a point.
I didn't say you asked him if he had probable cause.
No,
I'm saying you
that's not my point.
flat out say no. Now, believe me, I've said, why do you want me to step out?
No.
Do you have probable cause to ask me to step out? I've said such things before. Sometimes it worked out, actually, because they go, well, I just want to talk to you over here, so blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, now we're having a conversation. I still think you're full of shit, but now we're having a conversation. What I'm saying is, if you tell them flat out no, at that point, you are resisting a lawful order, and they have the right to drag you from the vehicle.
I'm not arguing.
They don't quite have the right to beat your ass yet, but they might find a reason.
I understand that, and I'm not arguing that point. I'm just arguing the point of there's been...
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if at the point where they already have the legal authority to get you for resisting arrest or impeding an investigation, they already have that legal authority. They have said, sir, step out of the vehicle, or sir, I need to see your ID, and you have flat out refused to comply with them.
Yeah, that's different, though.
At that point, they have the legal right to intervene with force.
Yeah, I agree.
So after that point, if you at any point start reaching for a pocket or digging around underneath a car seat, they already have legal authority to act as if you are a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Aggressive. Like, basically, you have already willingly, that's all I'm saying, man, is people treat cops are fucking wild dogs, man. Or at least that's the way you should treat them. I'm not saying they're all wild dogs in the sense that, like, you can't predict them. I'm saying...
So why give a wild dog a gun? And I go back to the same point.
Because you don't send chihuahuas to hunt fucking pit bulls.
I get it. But at that point, all I'm saying is, if you need to hand them a gun because they need a gun...
All right, let me rephrase that. I think you should treat every dog as if it might be a wild dog. Don't assume that it's friendly. Don't assume that you can pet it and play with it. Assume that it might just let you be. And the second that it stops letting you be, act defensively. Now, in the case of cops, the best defense is to just say, yes, sir, no, sir. Okay, sir, please don't put those on quite so tight. Yes, I am getting in the back of the car, sir. Yes, we will. Here's my fingerprint. Granted, I'm not saying that's nice. I'm not in any way.
No, and I agree with all that, man. All I'm saying is I reiterate the point that I tried to make from the beginning. Just hold every cop accountable to the same standards. And that's exactly what they are not doing. And that's exactly why a lot of cops feel that they can just be use their gun all freely nilly-willy and shooting everywhere, because you know what? I have a badge. It's my word over them. I'm probably gonna get off. So
okay,
you know what I'm saying? That's granted, all I'm saying.
I'm gonna say two things. First thing is, as I have gotten older, I have had far fewer interactions with police officers. But the interactions that I have had have also been, while not any less arrogant, I don't think cops have gotten any less inflated in their own.
I've learned. How can I, like, again? I'm not again.
You learn how to talk with them a little bit.
Yeah, like.
But my point is, I think the interactions I have had have been a lot less aggressive over the years, and I mean from their standpoint. And that's not just me knowing how to talk to them.
A lot of the reasons is because. See, for me, a lot changed when I became a father. When I became a father, everything that I used to do a lot became less. So, like, for example, I'm like from the hood, right? I come from, so like when you come from like a ghetto environment, you have a lot of ghetto tendencies. Everything from like the way that you talk to the way that you carry yourself, right? Your mannerisms and stuff like that. When you step into like the corporate world and you find out that there's a whole other world where people handle themselves different, right? So that teaches you to be to learn to be one. I'm not saying you're a different person. I'm just saying you carry yourself differently around this crowd. You carry yourself around differently around this crowd. It doesn't make you a different person. You just have to learn to acclimate yourself to whatever you're around. So
dude, that's why I gave the qualification that yes, I have less interactions with law enforcement because I do less dumbass wild shit.
So what I'm saying is back to the police thing. When I had a kid, I had to learn that my kid is gonna grow in the same world that I grew up in, right? Maybe not the same circumstances in the same environment. Hopefully not. But what I'm saying is I have to teach my kid respect, right? To have respect for other people, for their property, for their things, but I need to teach you to have respect for people because they're people, period. My point is that because I've learned that I also, my duty as a father is to teach her to be respectful towards authority figures such as law enforcement. And I kind of sort of bite my tongue a little bit when I say that I have to teach her to be respectful towards a law authority figure, whether she agrees with them or not, because of the fact that I don't want to be arguing
with her mother
over something that happened to my child when she's not here. If something does happen to her, I want her to still be here. So I want to tell her, if you ever have a run-in with the law, you be respectful and you do whatever it is that they're asking you to do. But I want to make sure that she walks away with her life from that situation. And if they were wrong, then at least me as a parent or her mom as a parent, we can take and we can fight it legally and stuff like that. But at least we'll still have our child.
Okay,
you know?
what I'm saying,
going back to you, this is the point that I'm making. As in, if I were to raise my kid to be reckless like I was, and fuck the law and fuck the police and I'm gonna do this and whatnot and whatever, then she's gonna go out and she's gonna do some stupid shit that's gonna get her caught up in some shit, and maybe because of that, she then may be hurt lawfully, like you said, by like maybe an authority figure, right, when all of that could have been avoided had she been respectful and learned to like diffuse the situation.
Okay, but that's a thing that holds true across any aspect of your life. Like you're gonna have
there's some things that you can't avoid.
Okay, I'd be willing to say 90% of the aggressive confrontations I've ever had, where somebody is genuinely...
I'm sorry. I'm also saying this because at 3 years old, I can already tell that my child's very confrontational. That's the thing. She's very confrontational. She's gotten confrontational with me.
Yeah,
and we
already talked about this. You need to get her into the boxing classes and let her get punched in the mouth a few times.
I told her, I've literally told my kid, like, I will whoop that ass. You know, you don't want to try me. Don't ever let this limb fool you. You understand? Like it's, but I'm just saying because like at daycare and stuff, like she fights. Right? And she doesn't go to daycare right now, but when she was going to daycare, she used to fight. And like I was telling her mom, my biggest fear is that for whatever reason, my kid has not learned what size is. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand. This person is twice your size. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't care. All she knows is that this person is in front of her, and she needs to move them out of the way.
Let's be honest. Up until the age, don't be wrong, there's always circumstances, sharp objects. Some kid picks up a chair and starts thinking this shit's WWE. But I'd say most of the time with kids under the age of 7, neither one of them is going to be able to implement an ass beating of any significance. You know what I mean?
Mike, let me tell you something, bro. And I'm not.
Is she the type that might reach for a sharpened pencil or?
But at 2 years old,
I used to know them kind of kids.
She pulled somebody's hair out. So
yeah,
okay. And she
now that kid learned a lesson. That kid learned that your daughter's a crazy bitch. That she should not get in a fight with her.
So the other thing was she also, I can already tell that she also understands she also understands what causes more damage.
Right.
At 2 years old, she's 3 now, but at 2 years old, she had an incident.
Man, what movies are you showing this kid?
She watched, I don't know, man. She lives with her mom.
She just over there playing the best of Friday the 13th and shit.
So she
look what Michael does.
At 2 years old, she was trying to pull the kid out, and she tried pulling her from the shirt. That wasn't working. So she pulled her from the hair, and that wasn't working. So the kid was stuck between a mirror and a dresser, right?
The fuck?
So yeah, because she was trying to pull her out because my kid was trying to get in to get the ball, and she wasn't giving her the ball.
Okay.
My kid tried, what do you call it? Diplomacy first. She said ball. She told her ball, and she said no. My kid asked again. She was like, ball. Second time that she said no is when she got physical. Anyway.
Hey, so what do you got to say to a kindergartner that you've already hit? Nothing. You already told him.
Exactly. So what she did was she pulled the hair. That didn't work. So then at 2 years old, this is what she connected, bro. She saw the dresser and she was pulling the hair. So she's like, this is not working. This is me thinking. Me being
Did your kid tip a dresser on top of another child?
No. I was like, this is me inside my kid's head. So like I feel like my kid saw a dresser and she was like, this is not working. So she grabbed the kid by the hair and she slammed her head into the dresser. You know. So then that's when,
I get it. John Wick. That's what she's been watching.
So yeah, then that's when the yelling came out, and then but guess what? Mission accomplished.
She got her ball.
The kid got out of the middle of the dresser. My kid got the ball. But anyway, my point to that was I don't condone kid violence or kid fighting. I'm just saying that my kid, I could already tell that she doesn't have a sense of fear yet. Like she doesn't have a sense of fear of heights. Right. She doesn't have a sense of fear of like, this person is twice my size. They can actually hurt me.
Right.
She doesn't care. All she knows is that I need to get from here to there. Whatever gets in my way, I'm going to get it out the way. And that's my fear. So, it's my job as a parent to do what I told you as far as like with the cops, because I feel, again, and this is my fault, kind of, because I feel that she has my attitude. I can already see that. But I feel that along with my attitude, I think she's going to have my mouth. So because I feel that she's going to have my mouth, that's why I fear that if I don't teach her early that you need to learn how to talk to people in general, and especially talk to authority figures, like she can run into that incident where she's going to be reckless with a police officer. Right. And you know what I'm saying? And and if something happens that like I said, she feels or I feel that the police officer didn't do it right, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. I want to fight that, but I want my child to be here while I fight that. I don't want my child to be an example of, You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I think if we've gotten anywhere in this discussion, we've outlined that you got to come to this problem of unnecessary violence in law enforcement.
And I gave y'all the solution. If y'all don't want to listen,
I'm saying it's one-sided though, man, because part of it is that we do have at least a percentage of our population that does not give any consideration or regard to not only the role of law enforcement.
Okay, but
hold
on.
The inherent,
who's this? Who's this that you're talking about?
The kind of people that'll get flagrant as hell with a cop and then wonder why the hell.
Like us, like
citizens, people.
Yes, okay.
Yes, population of people.
Okay, so that's what I'm telling you. Again, bro.
There are people that will get reckless with a cop because nobody told them not to.
And I get it. And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, but I'm saying at the same time, we also have legal systems that have not held cops to the stringent liability that they should be.
And I get it. And this is why I'm telling you it's simple.
No, but it's not simple, man. That's where I'm pushing back on you. It's not simple.
Let me explain.
Okay, so we smack kids and we smack cops. That's where we're at.
Kind of, sort of. But let me explain.
Sounds fun to me.
It is very simple, bro. The reckless people that you're talking about, the people that
make them cops. Okay, no. Bad idea.
The reckless people that we're talking about, bro. Those are the ones that deserve an ass whooping. It's very simple. If you want to go...
No, but I'm saying because of the fact that we allow for the recklessness, and part of it is kind of like we're so... For a brief period of time, we got so fucking hands off with like the way that we were trying to implement... I don't know, law enforcement, but on the greater scale, like... Dude, like I remember right when I got into like elementary and junior high was right at the tail end of when they were allowed in public schools to beat kids, right?
Okay.
And that was faded out as I went through school, right? I got to watch that happen.
Yeah.
And I got to watch the...
I heard, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that your kid can still get swatted today, but your parent needs a sign of permission slip. Is that true?
And it's all based on district policy. But is that
true? Is that real?
In the state of Texas, it's still legal, I believe, for the district to allow for that. Yes, but it's all based on the district policy.
Oh, and by the way, so y'all can call me a hypocrite if y'all want. I'm all for whooping your kid's ass, but I would not let a teacher or somebody in the school system whoop my kids.
My mom was always happy to let me know that she signed off on my ass possibly getting beat, but the thing was they were going to call her to come down and beat my ass for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
if she had to get dragged out of work, she was going to beat that ass.
Yeah, because I told everybody, I feel that a teacher's job is only to teach scholastic skills, and a parent's job is to parent. So
that's my argument right now for the education, where you have these teachers talking about, oh, these kids are unruly. Well, then throw them out of the classroom. Well, I can't throw them out of the classroom because the administration tells me that I can't have students missing from class. Well, okay, then that's on the administration then to figure out how to properly discipline those students.
And did we talk about this? Did I tell you about this? So real quick, because I don't think we have a lot of time. Well, I'm not in a hurry. I don't know if you are, but
we don't really have a time limit, man.
Okay, cool. So my and I'm gonna skim through the story as fast as I can because I want to get to the point. My uncle's having. I have an uncle. I shouldn't have said that, but I already said it. Fuck it. I have an uncle. He's having a problem with his kid, where he's not paying attention in school. Right. My cousin, he's 12 or 13, I think. 11, 12, or 13. One of those three.
Okay.
So he's not paying attention in school. He's not doing his work, so on and so forth. So my uncle keeps getting phone calls and all that. And he's like, I don't know what to do, man. This kid is just not doing his work. He's not doing his homework. He's not. So he's like, what is going on? And he doesn't understand. And my uncle told me that he thinks that it's drugs. And I was like, bro, That's not drugs, bro. I was like, I was on drugs. That's something else, but it's not drugs. He's like, are you sure, man? Because I think if he like if I don't know if he's smoking weed. I was like, bro, if he was smoking weed, that's definitely not weed. Believe me, it's not drugs. So then he talked to him or whatever, and he couldn't get to the bottom of it. So finally he threatened to take something away. Like I don't know what the fuck it was, but he threatened something, and then he was like, well, Dad, he's like, you really want to know what's going on? And he's like, yeah, bro, I've been trying to get down to this for weeks. So he looked at him and he's like, it's because I like my teacher. And my dumbass uncle was like, well, good. Like, why? So then, why don't you pay attention? If you were to pay attention, you make your teacher look good, and we wouldn't be having these problems. And he's like, no, Dad. Like, I remember. So he threatened. I fucked up the story. He threatened to pull him out of that class to put him into another class. Right. And then that's when he said, no, Dad, like, don't do that, whatever. And then he told him, he's like, it's because I like my teacher. He's like, why don't you do the work, so on and so forth. He's like, no, Dad.
So basically, this kid needed to jerk off more? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was getting. So he was like, no, Dad, I really like my teacher. You know what I mean? And in my head, it clicked real quick. So I was like, oh, shit, I get it. I didn't say it, but I was like, oh, shit, I get it. So then he's like, conversation ended or whatever. And I come home and whatever. So a day later, my uncle texts me. And he texts me and he's like, bro, I understand my child. And I was like, what do you mean? And he sent me a picture of the teacher. And then I called him and I was like, yeah, bro, if my teacher looked like that, I wouldn't have paid attention in school either. So anyway, man,
So we were talking about this older. We need older cops. We need older politicians. We need old ass teachers.
So my teacher had sideburns. Can you, motherfucker?
I bet she looked fly on him.
But I'm saying, dude, like when I saw the picture of that teacher, dude, like I'm in Chappelle's famous words. I'm gonna say something I'm not allowed to say. But fuck, dude, like I understand why these kids are fucking these teachers, dude. I'm not saying. All I'm saying is I understand.
Dude, I want to say I had one teacher.
One last thing I want to say. Yeah. For the record, when I was in middle school, I was in 7th grade and I got suspended because I hit on my history teacher. But I told her, but see, this is why I was mad. Well, I was mad because I got suspended. And I was mad because I got my ass whooped by my mom when I got home, when they told her. But this is why I was mad. I was mad because I did hit on my teacher, but at least I was a gentleman about it. I literally told her that I liked her, and I was like, hey, can we go out some? I literally told her, I was like, can we go out sometime? And then that's when she was like, she hit me with a low blow. She told me, you're just a kid, and she's like, and I'm your teacher. And then she ratted me out to the.
I was gonna say, man, that's like fucking. It's like some chick at the bar getting mad because you were like, "Hey, you seem nice. Can I have your number?" Oh my God, security.
Yeah, man. So, at least I was polite and a gentleman.
I'm just saying, most of the time those stories are bullshit, Freddy. So I'm thinking you might have done something creepy. Is all I'm trying to get at.
No, and that's what I'm telling you. That's exactly what I'm saying.
As far as your young ass remembers, you didn't do nothing creepy.
I did. For real, dude. Because as a kid, I was real stupid. Like not stupid, but I was when I was a kid, like in middle school. I can be honest. I was real timid. Timid is so. I was embarrassed of being embarrassed, if that makes sense. So I knew.
I get it. You were staring at your feet. She thought you were staring at her tits. It just misunderstanding.
No, definitely
all the way
not.
around.
But what I'm saying is, like, I literally did. I was like, I told her, I was like, I like you, cause like I don't know, like a kid, like I definitely wouldn't have said that shit now. But what I'm saying is, like a kid would, I was like, I like you. Like, would I be able to take you out sometime? That's exactly what I said. And then I never forget that she told me, she was like, you're just a kid. And that hurt because her saying, I'm just a kid, that's her saying,
That's salt in the wound. Yeah.
I would never even look at you. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, and I'm your teacher. So that was the like cherry on top.
Yeah.
And then she ratted me out to like the principal or whatever. And then the principal couldn't even
not only no, but fuck you.
The principal, when they took me to the principal's office, she couldn't even believe that I had because and this is what I'm not sure of, so I don't want to lie either. But I want to say, like, the principal was in such disbelief because I think no other kid had ever openly, like, hit on a teacher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she is, because she was the only one. Every other fucking teacher looked like they were 100 years old, bro.
Look, I will say this. I had at least a small handful of teachers that were very attractive when I was going through school. I had one of them that used to wear some sweaters that should have been called into question by the administration.
Sweaters?
Like the V cut and like she was.
Sweaters?
Dude,
I thought it would be like blouses and shit.
Don't get me wrong, some of the blouses too, but I mean, there's something about like the V cuts on like the sweaters with the puppies just right there. I'm just saying, man, it was something about the sweaters, man. Maybe I got like a Mr. Rogers thing going on that I don't know about. I might be. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say her name, but I have a friend and she's a teacher. She teaches at a high school. And
dressing too sexy for her own good.
No, what I was gonna say was that we were kind of having a similar conversation too, and I told her, I asked her, I was like, "Have you not?" Because she teaches at a high school. Right. It's not a middle school. I was in middle school.
You wanted to know if any of the boys had hit on her?
Yeah, I was like, hey, "Did you like? Have you had that problem?" She was like, "Yeah, dude." Like she told me, she was like, she was like, "There's this one kid, he tries to buy me lunch every day, and I have to tell every day. I tell him no, and ever since I told him that I was gonna report him to like the principal, he stopped. But she was like, this kid had the balls to tell me to let him know if I changed my mind. Like after she told him that, he was like, all right, let me know if you change your mind.
You know, that tells me we're doing something right. These kids got confidence.
Yeah, man. And I was like, shit, dude. And then, because I asked her, I was like, so what do you do? And then I did. That's why I'm not going to say who it was or whatever. But I did ask her. I was like, and be real with me. Be honest. You've never been tempted? And she told me, there's one kid in one of my classes that he's very handsome, but that kid has never hit on her. She just realizes that he's handsome, and she's like, it has crossed my mind once, like only if you're a couple years older.
You know what, that makes sense though, man, because think about it. The kids that have confidence at that age have confidence for nothing. They have nothing. There's nothing. They shouldn't have. Confidence.
But as a kid, I wasn't like. I mean, aside
no. But what I'm saying,
aside from that incident with the middle.
Well,
school,
no. You might just be a weirdo, but I'm saying most of these kids that are out here act like that's the first time I've told you that. But most of these kids that are out here hitting on their teachers, it's just those are the same guys that are, ass ugly at 55, still trying to, hit on 22-year-olds. Like they just have that confidence. Yeah. Like most people have to work up to it and go, oh, I'm a genuinely good person in life. I should be confident. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like some people are just born out of the womb. They're I'm the shit. And
But like
y'all should know it.
That's what I was saying. Like people today get amazed of like why kids are having sex with teachers are having sex with kids. And I tell them, like the people, like my friend, I tell them, dude, it doesn't amaze me. Have you seen how young, like they get younger every fucking year?
I think the one excuse for that is like, if you remember, think back to when you were younger and the stories that you heard about teachers sleeping with kids. Most of the time, those stories.
But there wasn't. I don't remember.
Okay, here's the thing. I remember a handful of stories going through school, but none of them ever got caught. I think maybe one of them actually did end up.
Well, because there was no social media back then. There wasn't even texting back then.
This is what I'm saying, man. These stories are getting out more, and people are almost. It's like, oh my god, it's true. Like they've always heard the stories. It's just like now. There's confirmation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These kids are on fucking, Facebook going like, oh my God, Mrs. So-and-so sucked my dick.
Like, that was the other recently, like I want to say like maybe 6-7 months ago. There was one where, and it sucks. Well, I mean, it doesn't suck because it still happened, but it was somewhere in Mississippi, Minnesota, one of the M states where, 2 teenagers at a high school, I believe. They were either freshmen or sophomores. They convinced a teacher to have a threesome with them. But that's not the kicker. The kicker is that somehow they they told the teacher that they were going to have a threesome and they were going to film it. And the bitch agreed. You know what I'm saying? So, and then she was all surprised when the shit came out. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. Let's refine where we're getting at with this episode's conversation down even to a finer point, which is basically people. We need standards, and we need to apply them. Okay, like if somebody wants to be a teacher, you need to have a flashcard of like attractive underage kids and just be like, do any of these faces make you tingle in your naughty bits?
Yeah.
If so, you don't get to be a teacher. Or at least not in high school, maybe in college. Fuck all the students you want there. I don't give a fuck.
No, I think that's still illegal, isn't it?
No, it's not illegal. It's usually against the byline.
Isn't there a law that you cannot have a relationship with your professor?
If there is, I'm not aware of it. There might be rules at the institutions against it, is what I was going to say, but I don't think there's a law.
So you can date your professor?
Yeah.
That seems wrong, and not because of the age thing, apparently.
Well, okay, there might be something as far as like state schools, like the whole Title IX thing, like, there can't be undue influence type of shit, but at a private institution, I doubt it.
I should go to college.
See, now there's confidence. You think college girls gonna fuck you? That's Freddy, you hold on to that. You are a golden summer child.
Sean, we should know. I can say this. Yeah, I just remember. I was like, I can't say this. No, I can. You should know, Sean, by now that when you... Hold on. Let me back up. I'm not saying...
Dude, I've already thought of like 7 possibilities for what's about to come out of your mouth. All of them are going to make me laugh and probably piss somebody off. But
I'm not saying that I have access to drugs now. But what I'm saying is...
Can you imagine if I was a college teacher, yo?
No, what I'm saying is, we both know, Sean, that when you have access to drugs, everybody's panties come off. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm speaking from experience. And I'll say something else. Like, I'm not saying a teacher or whatever. But I don't talk to them anymore. But I've slept with people's moms because of like drugs and shit.
You know that old cliche about
yes, your mom's a crack whore. Sorry.
You know that old cliche about like a woman decides if she's going to sleep with you in like the first 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I have literally watched a woman have the internal dialogue with herself, reconsidering her, like she's already decided not to fuck this person, and then they pulled out a big bag of coke, and just I watched her go through the process of going, maybe.
Exactly. Because it does, like, look, man, another thing that I'm not afraid of like saying, but like, if we're being absolutely real with each other, like, I'm not the most attractive person in the world by a long shot, but I've slept with some beautiful women, bro. I've slept with a stripper, shit like that. But it wasn't because she was or maybe she was attracted to me, but I know it wasn't because of that. It was because of the access to things.
Yeah.
Let's keep it even more real. We've all seen pictures of Pablo Escobar, and we've all seen pictures of El Chapo. These were some ugly ass motherfuckers. But do you know how many bitches they had? And it wasn't because of their looks.
Yeah.
But you also know the mountains of drugs they had. So that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I've actually lived the experience of, like, when you have access to different things, people will throw you like their panties and shit. I'll take it even further. And what I'm about to say is not illegal. It has nothing to do with drug relations. But we're both comics, right? Mm-hmm. You've been doing comedy for a number of years. I've been doing comedy for a number of years. I had a lapse in comedy, stopped, and so on and so forth. Since I picked up the microphone again, and I started doing comedy again, oh shit, there's no other way to say it. I slept with a couple of my friends. See what I'm saying? And it wasn't even like money related. You know what I mean?
I was about to say I have never gotten laid from being a comic, but here's the thing. I've never gotten laid while being a comic. I have a sneaking suspicion that I have gotten laid because I am a comic. You know what I'm saying? The difference I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Like, I didn't pick anybody up after a show.
With me, one time, I don't want to say how many times, but one time.
Let's assume it was one time.
Yeah, one time. It was exactly like that. We had a show. I can't believe I'm about, damn. And I still talk to her. I haven't seen her in a long time because of the pandemic, but one time,
you know how it is. We should have it on our business cards. Anything you say or do might be used for hilarity at a later point in time.
Yeah, she actually did tell me.
Oh, did she ask you, are you going to do a bit about this?
Yeah, she was like, you better not talk about me. She did.
That's a little bit different. That's a little bit different.
So, which I do. But I'm not going to. I do talk about it.
Oh,
so, man. So anyway, but the bit actually works, so I can't get rid of it. So anyway,
you picked her up after a show, or she picked you up after a show. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We were picked up. No, my point is, yeah, after a show, we were chopping it up. She was drinking because I don't drink. I'm sober. I told her that, and we was cool, whatever. And after the show, through conversation, and she was still laughing and whatever. And well, I mean, I personally closed out the deal. I was like, you know what? Like you can keep drinking. I'll get you some beer. You want to come back to my spot or whatever? She was like, yeah, sure. So then Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, and you know what I'm saying? But that's not the point. What I was going to say was, shout out to Senor Ray.
Hey, like I say, every time I open the show, they've been getting people laid since 1940.
Yeah, man. So So
Your
yeah,
granny probably got finger popped in the back row.
Because and she told me she was like I had been attracted to you since the very because I asked her how did you meet me or how she was like no I just know you because they
Sorry, man, but all that popped into my head right now. Why are you fucking me, Jenny?
So she was like, I know you. I just met you through doing the Wednesday night comedy night. This is the third time that I see you. And I looked at her.
Rule of three.
No, I don't check it out. And I looked at her and I was like, so you're telling me we could have already fucked 2 other times, but
You were feet dragging,
so
not closing the deal.
So, but then she said that she was turned off the first time because I hit on her friend. and first of all, I will say I don't remember hitting on her friend. I don't even remember what friend it was. Because and I know people are not gonna believe me and I don't give a shit. I don't have no reason to lie. Like I've never hit on anybody at my shows. Like it's like, hey,
dude,
hi,
all
how
right,
you
just
doing?
to throw out a scenario here, it's quite possible that she was so attracted to you that you were just nice to her friend and she was like, oh, that bastard.
Maybe.
Why is he not paying attention to me?
I'd
fuck him.
And she's not like she's attractive is what I was gonna say. Like she's attractive. She's thicker, but I like them thick. I don't like skinny women. I mean, let me rephrase that because if she listens to it, she's gonna get mad. She's like I said, I still talk to her.
Hey, look, repeat after me. I like women.
No, because
it's like, what kind of women? I like women
without a dick.
I like women.
No,
I will say, man, one of my proudest moments in comedy was I was showrunner for a show one night, and one of the comics got offered drugs and a blowjob after the show, and like to me that was like right on. We're doing something right. If the audience is
it's not the. Do I know this comic?
Yeah, you know that you may have heard this story.
Is it?
Don't get me wrong. He turned down the blowjob and the drugs.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were circumstances.
I think he told me this story. I don't know if he did.
Dude, I hope so. Like I said, it's one of my.
I don't think he told me on the podcast.
Like I said, it's one of my proudest moments that like I ran a show where one of the comics got offered drugs and sex in the bathroom. Doesn't matter whether they took the drugs or the sex. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
I just want to know that the audience was entertained enough to offer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, man. But anyway, the reason we got off on this conversation was because of access. When you have access to.
By the way, I just want to say, just if anybody's in that scenario where their kid is so attracted to the teacher that they're being retarded, you might want to remind them that teacher is probably not going to be attracted to retarded kids, and they should probably get their grades up.
Pretty much, or age quicker.
All right, I just want to put that out there, trying to help the community.
Pretty much, but yeah, man, like, and it's funny because I remember that a couple of months before that, I had a friend, a real close friend of mine, and nobody had ever asked me that. He asked me, "Hey, man, now that you do this," and this is exactly how he said it. Like he said, "Now that you've been doing this comedy shit." So you're kind of famous, right? And I was like, no, dude. I think you got the. I was like, you got the wrong comic. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the cover of the Rolling Stone.
I was like, no. He's like, no, like not. And he, of course, everybody uses that comparison. He was like, not Kevin Hart famous, but I'm saying like people here like know you and stuff. And I was like, not really. But what's your question? And he told me, he was like, no, I was just wondering because...
You ever get some pussy?
Yeah, he was like, because, like, people know you and stuff. Like, have you ever gotten pussy? Because they know... And at that time, I told him that I was like, no, man, I haven't. But now, if you're listening, I did, I guess. kind of. Yeah, man. And I still talk to her, man. Honestly, cause like I told her, cause she also told me she was like, cause she told me, and then I felt like shit when she told me. She was like, "Yeah, you're probably gonna like fuck me just like you fuck everybody else, and you're not gonna talk to him anymore. That's to be expected." She literally told me like
she'd already written a scenario in her head.
Yeah. I looked at her and I was like, "Bitch, you ain't even left my house yet." Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, what do you mean? And then she told me, she was like, "Well, that's your plan, isn't it?" And I was like, "Not really." And then she was like, "Well, what's your plan?" And I was like,
"I don't have one."
Yeah, I was like, I haven't thought that far. I was like, so she was like, "So you don't have a plan?" I was like, "Yeah." "Does it involve another woman?" And I was like, no. And she was like, "What does it involve?" I was like, "Breakfast?" I mean, you know.
Might involve putting some pants on. Maybe getting a sandwich.
By the way, she didn't spend the night, but it was like 3 a.m. So I was thinking IHOP. That's what I meant by breakfast. Yeah, cause and like but anyway, my point was.
By the way, good job on the numbers. You know, usually you leave the theater about 11 o'clock by 3 a.m. Like, yeah, man, you already dealt with your business. Good on you. Good on you.
Pretty much. Kind of.
You're an efficient motherfucker, Freddy.
Sometimes, not all the time.
You get it? Efficient motherfucker? Yeah. Anyway.
So sometimes you're done in 2 minutes and then you don't know what happened.
Sometimes you're telling them, "Hey, just call in late to work."
Yeah, pretty much. But
I don't know how you got those bruises, but you should put something on that.
But yeah, dude, it was fuck, where was I going with it? Oh, she was like, we kept talking as friends or whatever, and she turned out to be like real cool, like not one of those psycho like stalker bitches. And then I told her, I was like, "You probably just gonna come to that show and like that's it." And no, like after that she went to a couple more, and then then COVID came and said, "Yo ass ain't doing any more fucking shows." So, and we're here now, reminiscing about the good times and shit.
Wham bam, you don't get no clam.
One of our mutual friends, by the way, that's not the first time. That time I went for it, but one of our mutual friends that we both know told me that they went to one of my shows, and there was another girl there that was friends with his girlfriend, and she said she was a little tipsy, like she kept drinking as the night went on, and she kept saying
"I'll fuck that gimpy motherfucker."
She kept like asking our friend about me or whatever,
right? And
then my friend, trying to be like a good wingman or whatever, well, he's like, "I know him and shit," and she was like, "Oh, really?" So anyway, long story short, my friend told me that she was like, she was throwing herself at me. She was like, "Bro, like you could have had that and you didn't go for it." And he was mad because he was like, why didn't you go for it? And he even told me, he was like, "Why didn't you go for it? Did you not see her ass? Like, did you not see what I was looking at?" I was like, he was like, "I got a girl," you know what I'm saying? So like, I can't, but I was like, "Why?" But I'm going to give him the bitch answer that I gave the bitch answer to him that time. Like that time, I was like still freshly separated from my whole situation and everything, and I was still going through all of that shit. Not like emotionally or whatever, but I was still going through a lot of like legal scenarios and stuff. So that's why like I
just weren't in the headspace of
not only the headspace, but I wasn't thinking of because I was thinking more so of the consequences, like what would have happened, and I wasn't trying to like go through all of that.
Yeah, you were like the girl. The other scenario where it's like, no, but I mean, like, what do you want to do like after the first year of marriage? Like,
yeah, that's what I felt like. That
you want to rent a house or do you want to buy one? Should I sell my car and we'll use yours?
Like, is this really the end of it? Like, this is it.
But like, what do we do after the first kid gets into college? Because I don't really know what my money's gonna look like.
Are these jokes really going anywhere? Like, do you really think you're this funny? Like, yeah, dude. But that's it was cool. I didn't. Well, the other point to this whole conversation was that I was gonna say that, like, my friend had asked me, he's like, "Hey man, have you ever gotten to pussy?" So on and so forth. I didn't think, which I didn't see it that way. I just saw it as a girl. She was attracted to me. I was attracted to her. But honestly, that's really how it was. Like, I didn't think I was gonna experience that side of this shit so early. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Which I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but
I know enough local musicians to know that fame has nothing to do with fucking the opening act.
Yeah, exactly. And I do understand, bro. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to implicate other people. But I will say this: I've been on the road with other people. And by the road I mean like San Antonio, Corpus, shit like that.
You had to drive on a road to get there. Yeah,
Yeah. I've been on the road with other comics that I will not mention, for their purpose.
Some of y'all nasty.
Here. But they really go out and fuck these people. I remember because I had a conversation with one of them, and I was like, "Hey, dude," and you have no like fear of like, AIDS is real, right? Like that shit, like, and his response was so simple and so subtle. He was like, "Yeah, but I use condoms." I didn't know that AIDS was like, it's a condom. Let's back up. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because, believe it or not, like, I that's one of the biggest thoughts that I think about when I like
sleep with strangers,
with anybody. It's like that is the first like red light that goes off in my head. It's like AIDS, STDs, because like that's still like real, very real to me. Like, bro, like I don't think that in 2020 people understand. I don't know, and I blame this on Magic Johnson, but people don't understand that AIDS is very real and you will fucking die from that shit.
You know what? I don't know about the 10 years prior to this, but I know at this point, if anybody is not taking HIV seriously, I'm going to blame it on YouTube because those motherfuckers keep trying to sell me pills every other, on the hour.
Well, hold on.
Like, did you know that you can live a completely normal life with HIV just by taking our pills?
Let me say something. There is medication today in 2020.
You can fully regulate HIV.
Yeah, you can. It'll be fully regulated, and it'll be like if you've never had it. Now, keywords, people, like you've never had it. But once you get the virus, that virus is never leaving your body. And eventually, if you don't get hit by a bus, a train, fall from the sky, have a horrible accident, you will succumb.
No, you won't. That's part of the thing. Is like the current treatments keep the
HIV virus from turning into AIDS.
Yeah, like if you go off the medication or if you have some other major health issue, like that may be something else.
So
but
let's use this example. So like Magic Johnson is not going to die from AIDS?
No. Magic Johnson's probably going to die from old age. And either that or drowning under a pile of gold coins or something. I don't know.
Well, he's about to be a billionaire, but
yeah.
No, but like, is it like this is for sure for real? Like, cause
well, let me put it this way. I know
because I know you can get to a point where you become undetectable, meaning that basically the virus is like you.
Well, you can. The treatment is supposed to get people to the point where they can't even transmit it.
That's why. That's what undetectable means. Undetectable means that they can't pick it up when you get tested, the virus is still there, but it's just dormant, and they can't
Right,
pick it
but
up
it's not even active enough in the system that they could
to
transmit it. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why you can have like sex without a condom and shit like that. But I didn't know that it was to the point to where like you won't die from it. Like
Yeah,
I
you're
thought that
not gonna.
eventually at some point it was
No,
gonna get your ass.
if they can control the
HIV.
spread of the HIV
Yeah.
virus,
Yeah.
then it never even gets to AIDS.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. I do understand that.
Yeah, it's
As
not
long
gonna
as you
eventual-
keep it, as long as you keep it HIV, you'll
There
never.
there are other STDs that like syphilis. If you don't treat that shit, that'll fucking kill you,
Yeah.
and it'll kill you nasty.
A lot of people don't know. Fun fact: Al Capone died from complications of syphilis.
Yeah, I think he even refused to get treated.
Yeah.
At a few points.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Capone died from. Man, can you imagine that shit? The feds could not catch him right like dirty, so they got him for tax evasion. He almost beat that,
Mm.
and motherfucker couldn't beat syphilis, bro.
Hey man,
Fuck.
look, if you want to
One
talk
of the biggest gangsters in the world, bro.
dude, if you like had a list of like famous people that have died from various diseases, syphilis has taken out a shitload of big name motherfuckers like kings, queens,
And a lot of people don't know either. That's why y'all need to fucking educate yourself on this shit.
if your dick itches, go to the doctor.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that like syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, they're all curable.
Yeah.
Like you go get a shot of penicillin, and I mean, I don't think penicillin works for all of them. I think penicillin only works for chlamydia and syphilis. No, gonorrhea doesn't work for syphilis. I don't remember. Well, one of them, I think it's chlamydia for men. You have to get a shot on the tip of your dick. So good luck, motherfuckers. I'm glad I've never fucking.
I believe
Damn,
the
that
treatments may have changed. I do know I've talked to motherfuckers that
recently, like I want to say 6 months ago, because I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, when I was active, I used to get checked frequently for STDs and shit. So the last time I got tested was 9 months ago. How long has this shit been going? I got tested right before this shit started.
and they cram something down your dick.
No. What I'm saying is, I got tested and I came out clean or whatever. But that's how I found out. The lady told me, because I asked her, I was like, "Ma'am, what if I were to come out with one of these things? Like, is this shit like fully curable?" Because my biggest fear was, if I catch this, like, is it treatable? But is it gonna keep coming back like herpes?
Right.
That's what I was getting at. And she was like, "No." She said, syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia are completely curable. She said penicillin, and then she named some other antibiotic for the other ones. And then, but she told me, she was like, just hope that you never get chlamydia. And I was like, why? Can I die from it? She's like, no, but the only treatment for that is you get the needle in the head of your penis. I was like, God. And so the reason I'm saying that is because this was only 8-9 months ago that they're still like they do that shit. Well, now that's the other thing. Herpes. If you get that shit, yeah, good luck. You're gonna have that you won't die from it, but you'll have that shit for the rest of your life.
Yeah. No, the real problem with like herpes is it can, in certain people, it can have adverse effects. Like, say you've already had chicken pox as well.
Oh, I've had chicken pox. So can I die if I get herpes?
I don't necessarily think you can die. I know that there are cases in which some of the simplex.
I know I'm gonna get shingles when I turn like 50.
Well, shingles is a big possibility. Like,
well, yeah,
along with just the cold. But I'm saying if you add the cold virus along with the chicken pox along with the herpes, Like that can have major complications along with shit like shingles, because it can fuck with the
Damn,
nerves.
then I'm totally fine. I better not get herpes. That's the only thing I heard from that conversation. Because I've had chicken pox, and I know because a lot of people in my family have had shingles.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I hope not, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna get shingles.
Like the same way that chicken pox can be a problem later on down the road, my understanding is with certain people, herpes can have the same thing. Like long term, it may develop into something else, but with most people, that's not the case. And you also have, was it herpes type 1, herpes type 2, which is oral.
Well, I mean, I've heard that. I don't remember which one it is, the type 1 or type 2. I've heard that, like I said, I don't know which one it is, but type 1 or type 2, one of them is already she said 92% of the population.
Yeah, oral herpes is the one that like a shitload of people have.
What does that mean?
Like,
do I have
oral as opposed to genital herpes? Like,
but what's oral? Shit, it just made me fucking
the shit that's predominantly on your face. Like when people get herpes and they have it either, usually on their face or on their junk. Well, the stuff that's usually on your face, and you can have either one, place.
No, but how do I know that I have it? Like,
do
I have something in
break
my mouth
out, man? No, you'll break out. No. When I say, or it'll be on the outside of your lip, and you can have it on the inside of your mouth. By the way, like you can get herpes anywhere. It's just that predominantly people have it on their mouth or on their genitals.
Oh, okay.
Because we have a tendency to put our mouths on genitals. We're weird fucking creatures that way, man. Yeah, this is a fascinating episode. I hope you all have learned a lot from this.
I have not learned, at least enjoyed. And if you're gonna fuck somebody, make sure it's not a cop or a teacher. And if it is a cop or a teacher, wear a condom. Or even if they're not a cop or a teacher, wear a condom.
At the very least,
either or, be safe and make sure the gun is nowhere near the condom or the cop or the teacher.
I say put a condom on all of them, but that's me. But yeah, at the very least, I hope somebody like heard us and went, that sounds like bullshit, and then went and did their own research.
Pretty much. Yeah, don't ever take the information that you found here and say, well, I learned that there, and think if I heard it there, it must be true. No.
But Your Honor, the man on the podcast told me this.
Yeah, that's the last time. That's the last place I want to hear anything that was Your Honor. Do you know about the Bouncing Brains podcast? No, we no.
If you are currently being dragged under a bus, do not grab us.
That's why that's one of the reasons why that's one of the few topics I try not to touch on the podcast when it comes to the legalities of stuff, because I'm afraid of, you never know, bro. Like somebody's gonna be really high out of their mind and be like, well, on the Bouncing Brands, it said that if you legally, and it's like, oh, fuck. And then this shit's recorded, and it's like, fuck. I don't want to get subpoenaed.
And they also told me where to get the drugs. Like, oh, man, come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
They told me marijuana was legal. Sorry, this is Texas. But they said it was legal.
Damn. Yeah, man. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we start wrapping this up?
Nothing, bro. I'm just honestly, I'm hungry. Any suggestions from anybody that we should have something to eat?
Fuck Burger King. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh hell yeah! You had that incident.
Oh yeah, that was
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
$13 for a couple of beef patties. Go fuck yourself.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I have no shame in saying this. I've never liked Burger King. I don't like their burgers. I don't like their buns.
And that fake ass smoke flavor, it just go fuck yourself.
Burger King is a burger joint that I can do without. Like I really. Hey, did you hear that shit? And I guess we can close off on this. Rogan now lives in Texas, right?
Yeah. And
Rogan has tried for the first time in however many years. He tried Whataburger.
Right.
And he said that it's nowhere near as good as In-N-Out. And if I was 10 times bigger than him and not crippled, I would have punched him in the face.
Hey, look, man, I just feel bad for these people that don't understand. Like somehow,
Have you ever wait before you continue?
have I had In-N-Out? Yes, I have. Yes,
okay,
I have.
me too. So we can
Look,
so we can make these statements.
I'm not even going to say anything negative about their hamburgers. I will say their French fries are a soggy, sloppy mess.
Look, and all I will say,
I'm not saying I won't
and it's
eat
not
French fries with
and
a
it's
fork.
it's not because I'm from Texas. It's really not. But I've had Whataburger and I've had In-N-Out, and In-N-Out is good. It's a good burger, but it's not Whataburger, and I can say that it's nowhere near as good as Whataburger, bro. Everything about Whataburger, and it just made my mouth water. Everything about Whataburger is good. The bun, the sauce, the patty, everything is good. Like you can't go wrong. And I've had more than once. I've had In-N-Out. You know the only ones, but see with that it's more the fries, not so much the burger. But I hate the fact that they don't have one down here anymore. Did you ever have Rallies?
Yes.
Rallies fries were the shit. Till this day, honest to God, God is my witness. Till this day, at 33 years old, and I think the last time I had Rallies, I was about 8 or 9 years old. To this day, I have not had better fries than Rally's fries. And I've had a lot of different fries.
I'll be honest.
Everybody keeps telling me to go get a large fries from Five Guys.
Yeah. I haven't had Five Guys myself.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't think they can be
I will say this, pound for pound, on a consistent basis, the best fries I ever had, again, on a consistent basis.
Jack in the Box.
On any on any given day, Whataburger could have like the bombest fries ever, but on a consistent basis, back when McDonald's used to fry their fries in beef fat, fuck, dude, you couldn't beat it. I just pick up
what changed?
Back when they used to have the big old extra large fries, look like a fucking Coca-Cola. It was so goddamn huge.
Yeah.
Like back when they did not get, they don't fry it in beef fat anymore, man. It's I don't know what they're using at this point, but it's not that they're bad, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, fuck your health. Eat some salt. Eat some beef fat.
And it's damn.
Do some heroin. Whatever you need to do.
Whataburger actually sounds fucking good.
Fucking water size.
Water size everything. Triple meat, no bun.
Including this morphine. What was I saying? Anyway.
Hey, we gotta go get something to eat, y'all.
I hope
y'all found this episode helpful or funny or insightful in some fucking way. I reiterate, don't fight with people, especially cops. And if you fight with people, make sure cops are present. And don't fuck your teacher unless she's not your teacher anymore. My name's Freddy G, and y'all can find me on that Oh shit, I haven't logged on to Instagram in weeks either. But eventually you can get me on Instagram. I'm still not on Facebook. Eventually I'll make my way to Zuckerberg's kingdom if he doesn't go bankrupt after this lawsuit.
Well, I haven't talked this over with Freddy yet, but seriously, if anybody's listening to this, and let us know what you think about like Twitter, because we don't do much with it. And
I even forgot.
Honest,
I don't mean to be disrespectful to Jack, but
fuck Twitter too.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, you forgot you had a Twitter.
I forgot about Twitter, yo, because I forgot about Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's.
I need more than 140 characters to fucking express myself. Yeah. So Jack, get on that shit.
I'm just saying. Matter of fact, we should just start an app called I'm Just Saying, and there's no limit on characters, but anybody can.
It's just about what you're saying.
It's just about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you can find me at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as Hatfield Standup on Facebook, Twitter, and there was someplace else, I forget where. Not on Pornhub yet, but slowly creeping towards it.
Hey,
you know.
man, somebody just told me this shit about some OnlyFans type shit, and they were explaining that shit to me today. All I'm gonna say, man, is if you see anything on there,
it's a deep fake. I swear.
I just want to tell y'all, times is hard for everybody right now. That's all.
Jesus loves those
There's
who
this
love
girl,
themselves.
dude. There's these two girls. One of them's skinny, one of them's fat, and
Both of them are naked.
They no, just their feet. So they make $100,000 a month, and all they do, they get requests from men, and the biggest request that they get, fuck, I'm about to eat.
Stepping on food?
No. So the skinny chick puts a peanut butter on the fat chick's toes.
Yeah.
And she like licks them. And they $100,000, bro. What the fuck?
Kids, if I can say anything to you, before you engage in anal sex or toe sucking, clean it first and then think about it twice.
I'm not gonna lie. They both
got clean ass beat.
Yeah. Cause I had to get on it. Like they showed me, so I didn't believe them. So I had to see. So I'm not gonna lie. I have.
Hey.
No, I didn't see. No, hold on. I didn't see the video of the toe sucking because apparently
that was behind the paywall.
No, but yeah, because apparently you can't see it unless you pay for it, and I wasn't gonna pay for that shit.
That's just good business.
But they did have pictures. Like the chick had like pictures of her feet, like in all kinds of like pedicures and shit.
Got a toe ring on.
And I'll tell you, man, these chicks take great fucking care of their feet. I mean, I still wouldn't fucking do it because I'm not I would not fucking do that shit.
You know what, man? I bet there are chicks out there with sexy ass elbows, but I wouldn't know because that's not
exactly.
Not my thing.
I don't know. An elbow, really, bro? I don't think so.
I don't know if the skin was real soft. You know what I mean?
But it's an elbow.
I know, but in the right light, like I'm just saying, if I'm steel manning,
if you would have said an earlobe, that's understandable.
Yeah, I know you a solid freak, but
think about it. But you're saying an elbow. Saying that you would lick an elbow is kind of like saying you would lick them if they had a pretty nose.
Okay. You're automatically assuming that there's got to be some sort of oral engagement going on here.
Oh, so you'd fuck the elbow.
Well, look, man, I've sucked plenty of earlobes, but like I've never been attracted to an earlobe.
I'm not attracted to an earlobe either.
I'm just saying, like, maybe there are people out there who got like, if you were like, dude, have you ever looked at her elbows? It just like the way the light shines off them little baby hairs.
No, I get it because I'll tell you something. I've been attracted to people's teeth, not their smile. Their teeth, not the smile.
I understand,
and I can tell you who. I can tell you who, and I guarantee you're gonna go home and Google it. Do you know who? Avril Lavigne is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, now you just basically made the case that I was about to throw in there, which is basically I've never been attracted to a nice smile. I've always been attracted to like a slightly fucked up smile. Like, I don't know what it is about snaggletooth bitches.
What is this? What?
She got that one little tooth that's just like, it's a little crooked.
Hell no.
That's, dude, go back and look at Avril Lavigne's smile. And I'm not talking about like modern day. She might have had that shit corrected, but like go back to like 2001, look up.
Yeah, that's
she got that little fucking snaggletooth. I'm telling you.
No, she doesn't. She has the straightest teeth. In that one video that made her famous, that one music video, like there's close-up shots of her mouth, and you can see her teeth, and they look. That is I don't know if it was corrected or not, but those are some of the nicest, straightest, whitest teeth I've ever fucking seen.
I just want the audience at home to know that at some point, me and Freddy are going to have a very weird conversation where Google is going to be involved, and it's going to be a discussion that frankly, I don't think any of you all should be submitted to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about 75% of the 3 people that were on.
As soon as you start talking about toe fucking, everybody just left.
Yeah.
But look,
hey man, all I'm saying is $100,000. That's all the fuck I'm saying.
Is exactly how much it'll take for Freddy to let you fuck his toes. You can find Bouncing Brains audio podcasts at shoutengine.com/Bouncing Brains. You can find Bouncing Brains on YouTube. If you want to reach out and talk to us, bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com, as well as Bouncing Brains Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And apparently OnlyFans if Freddy gets his way.
Word. So until next time, keep it tight.